name's Andrew. I'll be your pilot and tour guide today. If everyone's ready to go, we're off to see London Bridge. So the first two features on the tour are straight ahead of us, guys. They're called Gog and Magog, which are names from the Bible, but they're not actually part of the Apostles lineup. Apostles going to be on the right hand side after we finish the little turn we're making here. Feel free to ask me any questions on the tour, by the way, if you do want to do that. The microphone on the headset needs to be nice and close to your lips. Voice activated. There we go, guys. Off to our right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Apostles. Only 7 remaining today. Little secret is, there were never actually 12 of them. They used to be called the Sow and Piglets. It's not the nicest name in the world, so they changed that to the Apostles in about 1950. And of course, everyone's so used to the 12 Apostles in the Bible, people started calling them that. And the name just stuck. But that's the last one going by there with the grass on top of it. This next group here, they have their own names, so not technically part of the Apostles. Small two in front are called the Twin Sisters. Taller one in the middle is the Salt and Pepper Shakers. And then that long skinny one there, that's called the Razorback. And this is all natural beauty, of course. It's just the wind and the sea eroding away the soft limestone in the area. Little triangular island coming up next here is called Baker's Oven. That's because of the hole in the side of it. Kind of makes it look like a wood-fired oven or a pizza oven. Of course, everyone else reckons that looks more like an enormous piece of cheesecake, but guys would go with whichever name you prefer. The big stack coming up to our right, that one's called Sentinel Rock. And is the tallest one in the national park. It's about 70 metres tall. That's about as tall as a 20-storey building. Compare it to the cars up there on the Great Ocean Road, they'll give you an idea of how big the Sentinel is. Township coming up on the right there now. That's called Port Campbell. It's named after Captain Alexander Campbell, who was a whaler. We do have whales migrating through the area between July and September. Poor things did used to get hunted, of course. But the whalers are actually so good at their job here that they put themselves out of business. They very quickly decimated the southern right whale population. And the whaling industry actually became unviable before it was even made illegal. Now that it has been outlawed, population is recovering. Still lucky enough to see whales today. Do like to take a rest in the shallow water here from that round the world trip they make every year. That's 2 Mile Bay to the right, which is a bit flat today, but it is normally well known for big wave surfing. At the far end of 2 Mile Bay is what's called the Arch. There's a perfect arc of rock coming off that headland. And it is just called the Arch. Give you an idea of its size, probably doesn't look it, but we could take this great big helicopter and we could fly it through that arch if we wanted to. Which of course I'm not about to do, but the dimensions do work out. We could squeeze the thing through there. That's Point Hess to the right now. The cut in the tip of the point is a set of stone steps cut in by the local fishermen so they could fish off that ledge at the bottom. And then coming around the next corner is a heart-shaped rock. That is London Bridge. It's actually what's left of London Bridge. There's a single arch through the middle of it there. But there used to be a second arch that crossed that gap and joined it to the mainland. That's where it really got its name from. Two arches made it look a lot more like a bridge. Now while we're in the turn, guys, I'm going to get you on TV, so on the front row you're on the screen, if you want to give yourselves a wave. And the rear row, guys, you're on the camera above my head here, if you want to give yourselves a wave. There we go, guys, that's London Bridge off to our left again. As I was saying before we made the turn, there did used to be a second arch to London Bridge that crossed that gap and joined it to the mainland. About a 40-metre span of rock. And because it was joined up, meant you were able to walk out onto London Bridge when that arch existed. So when it did collapse in 1990, two people were stuck on the far side out there. And so it took about 3 hours for those two to be picked up by a helicopter when they were stuck on London Bridge there. They were either very unlucky or very lucky, depending on your point of view. They could have been standing on the arch that collapsed. Being typical Australians though, they reckon they sat there and sang London Bridge is falling down for the whole 3 hours. That's Port Campbell to our left there. Port Campbell is the tourist hub of the area today. If you need a meal or accommodation after the flight, it'll be your best bet. A couple of good restaurants in town. And if you also have a look at the base of the cliffs below the town, you'll see all those large chunks of rock sitting there. They're good examples of the frequent rock falls we do get here. We lose anywhere between 2 and 15 centimetres of coastline per year due to rock falls like those. Big chunks of rock being worn away at their base by the waves and then collapsing into the sea. That does make it some of the fastest eroding coastline in Australia. As we come back past the Sentinel here. Just beyond it is a nice little bay or cove, symmetrical one with the cave at the end. That's called Horseshoe Cove, which is again for obvious reasons, it has the horseshoe shape to it. We do actually have penguins living down in Horseshoe Cove, little fairy penguins like the ones from Phillip Island that you may have heard of. Can't see them during the day, of course. They spend all day out fishing. But sometimes if you're lucky, you can see penguin footsteps on the beach in the morning. There's Baker's Oven to our left again. That's the one that has the cheesecake look to it. Just beyond it is a little beach. That's where the mouth of the Sherbrooke River crosses the coast. You can get down to that beach for a walk. It's accessed from the Lockhart Gorge car park over where there's a few buses and cars left over. You can even get out onto the flat rock, the surface next to the beach. Have a good look at the waves working away at the rocks below you. That's Broken Head to the left. And just beyond there's an island shaped like a question mark or a seahorse. That's called Muttonbird Island. That's also where the ship Lockhart was wrecked in 1878. It hit the rocks just on the right hand side of the island. There are only 2 survivors of the wreck. They were lucky enough to make it through that little gap to the beach below the car park. That's why that's called Lockhart Gorge. It's named in memory of the Lockhart shipwreck. There's the Salt Pepper Shakers and Twin Sisters again. And we're coming back to the start of the Apostles. So I'll count off the 7 for you. Number 1 and the largest is the one with the grass on top. Number 2 is the triangular one. Then we've got 3, 4, 5 and little number 6 in a group together. And a bit further down is the last one, number 7, just for the lookout. The lookout is that spur that sticks out from the mainland there. It did used to be an 8th apostle. Pile of rocks in between 6 and 7 is what's left of that one. It collapsed in 2005. All of the apostles are slowly being worn away at their base. You can probably see a notch on the bottom of each one where the sea's chipping into them. It used to be a great big slab of limestone stretching all the way out to sea. It was about 6,000 years ago when the Ice Age receded that the sea level stabilised at the height it is now. Began to eat its way in. Left us with everything we've seen on the flight today. They're all tougher bits of rock that stood up to the erosion better than the softer limestone around them. When we finish this turn in, guys, we're going to have a nice farewell view of the Apostles to the left of the helicopter, so have your cameras ready for that one. As we said on the way out, the 2 stacks closest to us now, they're called Gog and Magog. They got those names before the Apostles got theirs, so that's why they're not part of the lineup. It's just that 7 on the other side that do make up the Apostles. So I hope you enjoyed your flight today, guys. Want to have a look at the video recording that was made? It'll be available in the office straight afterwards. Yeah, welcome back, guys. You're free to remove your headsets, place them on the pegs behind you. If you want to take your seatbelts off, you spin the black disc in front of you. Thanks, Flying Topless Helicopters. Enjoy the rest of your holidays. Thank you, mate.